Hello, this is Dara Hoffman-Fox, and I'm continuing to read to you from my book, You and Your Gender Identity. There it is, A Guide to Discovery. Right now we're in Chapter 3, Feeling the Fear and Doing It Anyway. Right now we're going to get to the section that has to do with being kinder to yourself as you are on your gender identity journey. So let's dig in. There's a good chance you are unaware of how many negative messages related to gender and gender identity you've taken in over the years. These messages create self-loathing and shame, which fear hungrily feeds upon. Therefore, we need to minimize how much you might be working against yourself during your gender identity exploration. The following are ideas as to how you can do this by being kinder to yourself over the course of your journey. Put your self-care checklist to work. Find at least one activity a day to do for yourself from your checklist. You can certainly do more, as well as doing several at the same time. Continue to add ideas to the checklist as you discover what it is you enjoy in life, what brings you into balance, and what gives you comfort. If you didn't receive an adequate amount of care during your childhood and or didn't have self-care modeled for you, this might be difficult to try and can feel initially uncomfortable. Take it slow and allow yourself to adjust to self-care becoming a regular part of your life. Your body and mind will eventually begin to ease into it, so keep at it until it becomes as natural to you as breathing. Cut down on excessive escapism. You may have noticed that you indulge too much and too often in certain activities on your self-care checklist. These activities, if done in excess, can become distractions and escapes that inhibit forward motion. If reading that caused you to feel even a little uncomfortable, ask yourself, is this true for me? Circle your answer below. Yes, no, or maybe. If you answered yes or maybe, then this is no easy step to take. These activities have provided you with comfort over the years, protecting you from whatever it is you have buried about yourself. However, these self-care activities crossed over at some point into avoidance technique. Question: what activities on your self-care checklist do you think you might use for avoidance and or excessive escapism? Let's approach cutting back on avoidance and excessive escapism in your life step by step. By the way, the self-care checklist, you can find that in an earlier video that I recorded that you can find in the playlist for this video series. Step 1, cutting back a little at a time. If you're spending on average 4 hours a day playing online games, cut it down to 3. If you watch Netflix 12 hours a week, cut it down to 10. If you're on social media 3 hours a day, cut it down to 2.5. During this downtime, you can continue to work more through this guide. Explore whatever it is that this guide stirs up or inspires in you. Journal about the challenges you encounter, what did and didn't work, and how you are going to stay motivated to keep moving forward. Do a different self-care activity that you know is not excessively escapist. Continue to chip away at the amount of time you are in the excessive zone with any of the self-care activities. You'll know you've reached your sweet spot with these activities when you sense they are helping you recuperate as opposed to helping you avoid. Question: what else could you do during the times when you are used to doing this activity? Step 2, determining the right amount of time. Next time you're overindulging in one of your self-care activities, listen to that little voice inside that says, I should probably stop soon, or just one more episode, game, chapter. Think of this voice as an alarm clock inside of you that has a snooze button. The little voice goes off, you hit snooze. The little voice goes off again 15 minutes later. Time to stop, the little voice says. This is when you should close down, shut it, walk away, and find something else to do. Question: at what point during your activity do you usually begin to hear this voice? Once you get into the habit of catching this voice when it comes up, set an actual timer for 15 minutes, giving you time to wrap up your activity. When the timer goes off, stop what you're doing no matter what. Have something else already planned for you to do when you stop. Step 3, find other things to do. The activity doesn't matter as much as being sure you already have it planned. One trick is to make sure this is something you have to do at the time you're supposed to stop what you're doing. For instance, tell someone you'll call them at the time you need to stop your activity. Tell a family member or friend you will meet them somewhere or pick them up at a certain time. Have a class, meeting, or gathering that you are really motivated to go to. Turning to activities on your self-care checklist that engage a completely different part of your mind, change up your environment, and awaken your senses can also help to break these patterns of behavior. This can include physical activity, meditation, cooking or baking, listening to music, taking a shower, sitting in a park, etc. Question: what activities can you schedule for yourself ahead of time so you can do them once you stop your excessively escapist activity? So that's a pretty intense part of the chapter, and I encourage you to spend some time thinking about those questions. Maybe listen to the video again and write down those questions and see what you can do about honestly addressing them. So next, we're going to talk about create a nurturer as a way for you to do a little something to help yourself through this part of the gender identity journey. It turns out this part is really short, so I'm going to read it to you. Create a nurturer. At the very heart of self-care is the ability to receive nurturing. What does the word nurturing bring up for you? What do you imagine, ideally, that the experience of nurturing would feel like to you? This answer will be different for everyone. Some people need warm, comforting, and gentle nurturing. Others need nurturing that is wise and mentor-like. Still others enjoy a more playful, enthusiastic, and empowering side of nurturing. There are even those who connect best with tough love approach to nurturing. Your nurturer can also work together with your bodyguard as a team. The nurturer can be there to help your bodyguard calm down, enabling you to be able to turn to both of them for advice, to complain about life, and to lean on for support. Use space below to create your very own nurturer. If you want to picture an animal instead of a person, such as a lioness or a mythical creature, then by all means do so. The only stipulation is they need to be someone or something that you can easily conjure up in your mind when you are in need of nurturing. Imagine them holding you, preparing you tea or a big lunch, listening to you, giving you advice, or making you laugh. The mind is powerful enough that if you allow yourself to really sink into these experiences with your nurturer, you will feel physically better afterwards. A reduction of your blood pressure, a slowing of your breathing, and a calming of your mind. Question: how would you describe your ideal nurturer? The next time you're in need of comfort, call upon your nurturer for help. This will serve as a reminder to you that your self-care must become a priority and that you deserve to be treated with care, compassion, and love. That's it for chapter 3. Next video, we're going to get into chapter 4, which has to do with building your support team. In the meantime, I'm Dara Hoffman-Fox. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you in the next video.